Hi, we are hosting an author fair today here at the Hedberg Public Library in the program room from 1 to 3 p.m. We've invited authors from our area, including as far away as Madison, to come and showcase their books that they've written. We have a total of, I think, probably 15 or 16 authors here today, and people have been coming in to talk to the authors they've read works from and get their autographs, as well as find some new authors. So we've enjoyed a nice turnout today on a Saturday afternoon here at the Hedberg Public Library. We are having our first drawing this afternoon for books donated by our authors today. And our first winner is Rhonda Lang. She just came in. She just did one timing on that. So here you go. Thank you very much. And the selection of them. This is romantic. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Judy Adler. And I worked with the city of Janesville for almost 30 years, working with the Historic Commission. And so history is one of my loves, and historic buildings is another part of it. My husband and I have worked together on this book using historic postcards from his collection and the collection of other people. And I did a lot of the research to tell the stories that the postcards seem to indicate. And it's been a lot of fun. And we have another book coming out in February with historic photographs from the archives of the Historical Society and the city's engineering department. And I will give you to my husband and he'll talk about his novel.
I'm Dan Adler, and we have, as she said, finished our second Janesville book, which will be out around Valentine's Day of next year. I wrote a novel, came out about 4 years ago, called To Become a Priest, a love story of a young man who is obsessed with becoming a priest, goes to a seminary, discovers he has doubts about God, and falls in love with his best friend's twin sister. And it covers 40 years, and it's gotten some good comments from people on Amazon, and people have enjoyed it. And I enjoyed writing it and talking about it. So anyway, that's pretty much it in here. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Greg Peck. I live here in Janesville, and I'm the opinion page editor at the Janesville Gazette, where I've worked for almost 24 years now. And my book is Death Beyond the Willows. It's a true story of rural history surrounding a 1927 wedding day tragedy that occurred in Portage and involved a couple wed in my hometown of Marshall in Dane County. And I got started on the book in 1997 when the family had a 70th memorial service to this couple. And there was publicity in all the Madison papers about it, and it just fascinated me. And as it turned out, the groom's family in this story lived across the road from the Peck family farm where my dad grew up in Marshall. And so my dad knew these people and some of the descendants of the family, and that's how I kind of got a foot in the door to talk to these people about their Uncle Johnny and Aunt Hazel. And the idea was that I had never heard of a couple who had died on their wedding day, and I still haven't. And they died together on their wedding day, and I just thought it was an incredible tragedy, and I wanted to find out more about who these people were and build a book around them. And that's what I did. The book came out in 2005. I have very few copies left. I'm thinking about maybe going to a self-publishing company because I have the rights back to the book. I haven't made a decision on that yet, but I haven't been actively selling the book in the last few years because I only have so few copies left. And it's a tough market for writers right now just because of the economy, and publishing companies are only taking the cream of the crop. So if you're interested in writing, I would encourage you to join a group such as Wisconsin Writers Association. I've become a board member for the Wisconsin Writers Association, and I've learned a lot from that organization and have developed good friendships with some quality writers. And it's a good way to get your foot in the door and learn more about writing and the avenues to publishing that are available to you. So if you'd like to, you can contact me at the Gazette, and I'd be happy to help you get involved in the organization. Thank you.
I'm Jerry Peterson, a local author. I'm from Janesville. I write Western mysteries. This one that you see earliest fall is set in Kansas in 1949, so it's not an Old West mystery. The guys here are driving pickup trucks and jeeps rather than riding horses. I have a second series that will come out next year, stories, mysteries again, that are set in Tennessee. I was a newspaper reporter for a lot of years, as well as eventually becoming the managing editor of 2 different newspapers. So I had a chance to collect stories that I could never use in a standard newspaper report. And so I filed them away, figuring someday I'll have a chance to write them in fiction. And finally had my opportunity when I went to graduate school at the University of Tennessee. This particular book grew out of a short story contest that a group in Manhattan, Kansas sponsored. And it was an opportunity to get published. Both of my short stories were picked up for an anthology and then led to this book. Probably the best thing that any new writer can do if he or she is intending to be published is to get with a writer's group, fellow colleagues who are like him or her working on the craft of writing with this goal in mind, to become a published author. They will provide you with the help you need, just as they expect you to provide them with the same kind of help in a critique group. Thank you.
I'm Dorothy Sherman, and I've written a book called Cornflowers by the Roadside, which is not about flowers. It's about living through the Depression years from a child's point of view. The child is 7 years old to begin with, a little girl, growing up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Not my story, but I used my background. And she ends up in World War II at the age of 19. I've been writing ever since I could hold a pencil. I've been a journalist. I live in Janesville, Wisconsin, and I enjoy living here. And I'd like to have you read my book. That's why I wrote it.
Hi, I'm Tom McBride, and
I'm Ron Nief.
And we are the authors of a book called The Mindset Lists of American History. It looks at American life through 10 generations of 18-year-olds, starting in 1880 and ending speculatively in 2030, which is about 18 years from now. We are also co-authors of the annual Beloit College Mindset List, which looks at the attitudes of the current generation of college students, and we've essentially done what we do every year for American history. Brian Williams of NBC says our book is indispensable. The Associated Press called it a mesmerizing way to retell American history. Ron?
And the book looks at the generations through the eyes of the 18-year-olds in that generation, and sort of looks at how 18-year-olds have changed over the course of 150 years, and how, well, life has changed in many ways, the many ways in which life just doesn't change. The more things change, the more they stay the same. So as 18-year-olds were once already had families working in factories and farms, today they are a generation just getting ready to go to college. So it looks at that history, and it is an interesting way of studying history. We've taught in some of the high schools here to present this as an idea for how to teach students that they are history, their parents are history, and how they can recognize that history.
Yeah. And you can find us on the web, several places. If you go to the Beloit College website, that's beloit.edu, just after beloit.edu/mindset, that will tell you everything there is to know about the Mindset List, about the book, about all of our lists. We're also on Facebook. We're called The Mindset List on Facebook. We have daily quizzes and lots of other sorts of fun. And then finally, we have another website called mindsetmoment.com, where we have a daily quiz. We have an advice column for solving all of your intergenerational conflicts. And so we're very active.
I fell in love with poetry when I was at the University of Wisconsin in Madison. We had a professor that just brought it to life, and it's always been a part of me. And I started writing poetry when I got back from Vietnam, and it was an outlet for my frustration. And it branched out from writing about Vietnam to writing about Wisconsin and music and all kinds of different topics. And my wife, Cheryl Mitby here.
Hi.
She and I have written a lot of what we call poetic epigrams, and they're a lot like Burma Shave commercials, if you remember them. And she'd come up with them, and I called her Zelda because Cheryl and I both love F. Scott Fitzgerald. We just love The Great Gatsby. And of course, F. Scott took so much of his stuff from Zelda and put it in there. And so Cheryl would come up with ideas, and then I would put them into written form. And I've also written a couple of musicals with my partner, Terry Matuli. He writes the music, and I've written the words. And I have a couple that haven't gotten that far, and I have several novels that are unpublished, but writing has been a big part of my life, and it's been like a drug of choice. It's something that I can do to take care of my time and take care of my mind, and I've been very fortunate to have a wife like Cheryl who's given me the opportunity to do a lot of writing and has given me so many ideas. So I'm very, very blessed in that respect. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Eileen Lucas, and I write juvenile nonfiction books for children and young readers, from beginning readers up through young adult and adults as well. I've written 25 books that have been published by various publishers, and I'm happy to be here in Janesville today at the Janesville Library. I used this library a lot when my children were growing up and as researching on my books, and thank you.
Hello, my name is Dale Wright. I am the author of the book Democracy in Freefall. It's my first attempt at writing, and what we are trying to do is to bring hope to the people of the United States by restoring their freedom and returning democracy to our government. As you may know, we no longer have a democracy. We have a socialist government. That's where your leadership does what they want to do and tells the people what to do. So I think you'll find my book very interesting because I have developed a plan to correct these fallacies. Our leading economists tell us that within the next 8 years, that if the government does not stop or correct its spending habits, we will go into bankruptcy. Now, this is extremely serious. We cannot allow this to happen. And unfortunately, with the two parties that we have, neither one of them is capable of working together to end the problem. So, what I have done is develop a new party called We the People Party. And that party's goals are to answer the will and desires of the people. We should be up and running within the next 2 years. And at that point, we'll have a full slate of candidates, and we should be able to sweep the election in maybe 2014. So I want to thank you for listening to me. As far as my book, it's available at Amazon.com and at Trafford.com on the web. The cost is just slightly $15 plus shipping. But I ask you, after you've read it and everything in there is true, please spread the word to your friends how serious a situation this is. As a new writer, I have found out that writing is the simplest part of getting a book published. When you have too many people that you deal with at the publishing company, and they're not always on the ball. So as far as submitting corrections and make sure that you have a good point of contact there, and that they follow through and email you and keep you updated, because otherwise they'll let it slip, and before you know it, 6 months have gone by and your book still isn't published. Good luck to you, and I look forward to seeing your books also.
Hello, my name is Kimberly A. Blanchette, and I'm thrilled to be here at Janesville's local library, which actually is having a wonderful event today. And what a thrill. I am the author of The Master and the Student. It's the latest chapbook of very eclectic poetry and wonderful nature, mysticism, political, just a wonderful ride. I've been just doing poetry for over 25 years. I'm also a photographer of black and white photography. Speak all around the United States doing poetry events and photography events, and a little close for words here, but again, we're absolutely just delighted to be here today. Some of the works are also Naked, which is a chapbook that was published in 2010. The Master and the Student was just recently published, 2011, 2 weeks ago. And then there's the classic Layers of Moments, which is a wonderful awakening, published in 2006, of nature poetry, political, spiritual, and a lot of the nature photos of the local area, Edgerton and Milton, even as far away as Green Bay. There's a lovely CD of Celtic fluting and Native American fluting as a backdrop of my poetry, a lot of nature poetry, all natural. And you can tell that I'm just beaming with excitement. So thanks for joining us here at the Hedberg Library. We're thrilled, all of us, from all of us to you out there. Have a wonderful, wonderful year. And let's welcome in the new year for 2012. Thanks again and have a great day.